Bang, bang, police open up. Imagine this. I'm sitting at my kitchen table drinking my morning coffee, and suddenly two goons in cheap police uniforms bust through my door, guns drawn, screaming like they're starring in some B movie. They think they're the FBI. Hands up, they yell, acting like they're here to save the day when all they want is to rob what they think is an easy mark. What those idiots don't know is they just walked straight into a trap I'd been setting for weeks, courtesy of Rebecca Morrison, the HOA president who thought she could outsmart me and everyone else on this street. Honestly, she had no clue who she was messing with, not by a long shot. Let me tell you, predators always think they're the smartest ones in the room until the day they pick the wrong target. 3 weeks ago, I was just a 70-year-old widower living quietly in my cabin. Margaret and I built this place together decades back. Those were the good years. But when she passed from cancer, I kind of faded out, let the world go on without me. My neighbors probably thought I was just another cranky old man talking to himself more than to anyone else. But what they never realized, I spent 40 years in military intelligence. You don't unlearn how to watch people, how to sniff out when something's just plain wrong. It all started small. Mrs. Green, my neighbor down the lane, tells me she's getting weird charges on her bank account after some HOA computer upgrade Rebecca organized. Rebecca, by the way, always struts around dressed for a power lunch, even if she's just poking through someone's mailbox. She talks to old folks like we're kids. But it wasn't the attitude that made me suspicious, it was the timing. Mrs. Green's trouble started right after one of Rebecca's tech guys visited her house. Now, you know me, I don't like being suspicious for nothing, but old habits die hard. So I wander over to Mrs. Green's place, claim my computer's been acting up too, and ask if I can take a look at hers. Sure enough, I spot this little device plugged into her machine, a key logger catching every password, every bank login, every keystroke. My blood went cold. Suddenly, I realized this wasn't about being bossy. This was systematic. Rebecca wasn't just a petty control freak, she was robbing people blind. I started quietly checking with other neighbors, listening, watching. Turned out 12 seniors had mysterious bank withdrawals always after Rebecca's crew came by. I mean, identity theft, wiped out savings, you name it. That's when it got personal. Rebecca started circling my place, offering help, asking about my health, pretending to care. I could see the wheels turning in her head, lonely old man, prime property. No family, close insurance payout. To her, I was a jackpot, $2 million in land, $750,000 in insurance. Easy pickings. But she forgot something. 40 years in intel teaches you patience, how to set a trap so tight they won't see it coming. Margaret always said I was a chess player, seeing the whole board before the other person even knew they were playing. That keylogger in Mrs. Green's house was the tipping point. Margaret's last words to me were, "Take care of our neighbors." I'd retreated after she died, but watching Mrs. Green cry over the money she lost that lit a fire in me. So I made up my mind I'd let Rebecca think she was stalking her next victim, while I collected enough evidence to bury her operation. I started documenting everything, photos of Rebecca meeting shady types, odd deliveries, her inspection routine. It got bigger fast, 15 victims, 400 grand stolen over 18 months, all disguised as HOA business. Insurance fraud, identity theft, the works. That's when I realized this was bigger than my neighborhood. Time to call the feds. I go to the FBI, lay out everything I'd gathered, photos, logs, a full report. Agent Lisa Torres listens politely, probably thinking I'm just another old guy with a grudge until she flips through my files. Suddenly, she's all business. "This is professional level work, Mr. Sullivan." When I tell her my background, we're suddenly on the same team. I agree to be the bait. For 3 weeks, I play the role of feeble, confused widower. Rebecca circles closer, bringing cookies, asking about my will, prying for details. Every conversation, every smile is bait, while my cabin's rigged with hidden cameras and the FBI's got eyes everywhere. She brings in Muscle Derek Wilson and Frank Peters, 2 washed-up security guys with gambling debts and nothing to lose. She even plants rumors I'm losing my mind, laying groundwork for a wellness check her cover for the planned hit. What Rebecca didn't know was Mrs. Green was now on my side, ready to call the real police and the FBI the moment Rebecca's crew made a move. Tuesday morning, the motion sensors go off. Derek and Frank are on my property. I'm shaking for real, not just acting this time, but I channel it into my best performance yet. They bang on the door, flashing their fake badges, acting like heroes. I play the confused old man, let them in, offer coffee. Frank rifles through my desk, stuffing my checkbook, fake insurance papers, and Margaret's jewelry into his pockets right in front of 3 cameras. Derek distracts me, asking about my kids, my meds, all while Frank's snapping photos of my documents. Suddenly, Rebecca's voice comes through on Derek's phone. She wants the insurance papers, and then she coldly says, "Remember what we talked about with loose ends? That's code for getting rid of me after the robbery." Inside, my heart is pounding, but on the outside, I'm still Mr. Helpless. I tell Frank my really valuable things are in the bedroom safe, a decoy. They take the bait, follow me. Right then, my watch buzzes. Showtime. FBI bursts through every door like something out of a movie. Derek and Frank freeze faces white as sheets. Where did they all come from? Frank stammers as the agents cuff them. I stand tall for the first time in weeks, drop the act and tell them straight, "You just committed federal crimes on camera with the FBI watching." Torres is there grinning, holding up her recorder. We got everything. But just as I'm catching my breath, I spot movement in the woods, someone watching. And then poof, they're gone. Later, Derek and Frank spill their guts. Rebecca paid them $5,000 each, planned the robbery, and even considered making me disappear. Rebecca's busted by the FBI trying to wipe her hard drive, caught cold screaming about entrapment as she's marched off in handcuffs. Turns out she'd been running a ring, stealing from 15 residents, over $400,000 gone. Frank confesses they were going to handle me if I caused trouble, conspiracy to murder. Rebecca's sentenced to 22 years in federal prison. Derek and Frank get 3 years each cut for testifying. The real win. We got the money back. Mrs. Green got her check for the grave marker she'd been saving for, and the whole community started coming together like never before. People who'd been isolated were suddenly checking on each other, sharing tips, making sure nobody got picked off by a predator again. I even started helping the FBI with elder fraud prevention programs. Turns out the Sullivan method is just basic decency and looking out for your neighbors. Life settled down. I was getting coffee with Mrs. Green twice a week, even started seeing a widow from the next town. I felt like myself again until I got a message that made my skin crawl. "You have no idea how deep this goes, old man. Rebecca was just the beginning." And then came the wooden plaque with GPS coordinates and the word help carved into the back. Suddenly, the FBI and I were looking into a private elder care home nearby, a place where another set of crooks were robbing and drugging old folks. We took them down, 2 rescued, 43 seniors, sent 3 more criminals to prison. But just as I was hanging the plaque in my cabin, Margaret's old wind chime rings, the one that only sounds when someone walks the hidden trail to my house. I look outside and see a woman moving through the woods, same build as Rebecca, same way of walking. My phone buzzes. "Hello, Uncle Tom. Sister Rebecca sends her regards from prison. Time to finish what she started. Signed, M." And just like that, I realize sometimes you think you've shut the door on trouble, but it just finds another way in. So what would you do if you were me? Grab the rifle or call the FBI? Tell me below. And if you learned something about fighting back against predators or just enjoyed the story, show some love, hit like, and drop your thoughts. Justice is a team sport, and it starts with us. You never know who's watching out for their neighbors or who might just be the next Thomas Sullivan.